Hi everybody, welcome to New Mexico is a Basketball State podcast. You know it, I know it, hosted by me, Russell Gurule. Now stay tuned for the next hot take. Hello everybody, we are back, episode 7, and I gotta thank everybody for tuning in to episode 6. That was great response. I loved all the views. I appreciate all of you for sticking with me through this whole series. Gonna keep on doing it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I really appreciate all that. So I'm going to catch up on some prep news. No real thing has happened as of yet as far as offers or commits. We did get one for Jalin Jacobs of Hobbs, who received an offer from Wayland Baptist University. So that's exciting. He's really racking those things up. So he's really doing good down there in southeastern New Mexico. So that's great. So there's some more players that are coming out, and I think we're going to have a really big year where we're really going to start seeing them towards the end of the season. So I got a little cheat sheet to help me out here because there's just some more and more talented kids popping up on the scene. 2 weeks ago I was at Capitol and they held a great tournament, back to school slam. It was great hospitality by the Capitol staff. I want to thank them for having me. And I got to see Anthony Alvarez of Capitol. And this young man's going to be really exciting for them up north in Santa Fe. He's definitely going to turn some heads. He's doing some nice things up there. So definitely keep an eye on him for sure. And Santa Fe had Finn Coles, who received an offer. By the way, there's actually 2 offers. Besides Jalin Jacobs. Finn Coles of Santa Fe Prep received an offer from Northern New Mexico College up there in Espanola. So that is awesome. So that's some good news right there. So they keep attracting offers, these kids. They keep making things happen. So I'm going to go down the list here of some kids that are still out there that haven't quite got those offers yet. And I'm wondering why, to be honest with you, because they're really out there performing. We're at the end of the summer, and so the AAU season has finished. We still have maybe a tournament or 2 left over, and school has started, and I'm going to get into some stuff there that is probably going to make this a fiery broadcast. This is not going to be your typical New Mexico is a Basketball State broadcast, because it's going to be a lot of issues that are coming up now. And there's a lot of things that need to be talked about and have public discourse. But let me go through these names here that people need to find out about, because we definitely got to support our kids. These new kids on the block is what I like to call them. And Rio Rancho has Jaden James coming up the season. Athletic left-handed player. He's the first one I'm mentioning because I've seen him before. And I think he's going to make an impact for Wally Salada's program there at Rio Rancho. So definitely keep an eye on him if you live up in that area. He's somebody who we'll be talking about probably in a year or 2. Or even this year. He might have a big impact. He's only going to be, I believe, a 10th grader or going into his 10th grade season. So definitely someone to watch. We have Jet Wycott, and I hope I'm saying his name right. But Jet is really doing some things for Hope, and he's going to be probably their main player over there. And he's another one that we're going to be talking about in 4A. Nice outside shot, and he seems like a leader over there. That's one that we'll probably be talking about too this season. I think this is going to be his breakout year. And as I look at my cheat sheet here, we got Roswell Goddard's Noah Reese. And I don't think he's gotten enough love, really. He's a 6'3", small forward, nice outside shot. He averaged 20 points a game last season for the Goddard Rockets. And I'd really like to see some more pub for him, because he's definitely one of those players that could be an all-stater. He's definitely somebody that's going to be pivotal to the Rockets' success next season in 4A. So definitely keep an eye out for Noah Reese for sure. And as we go down the list, Jalin Jacobs of Los Lunas. Jalin is now going to enter his freshman season. And I talked about him in episode 6 a little bit. He was an 8th grader on the varsity at Los Lunas, and he was getting he had games where he was getting 20 points. This is one young man. It's a guard. He's about 6 foot, and he's going to be somebody that we're going to talk about for 4 years. And he's possibly, I would say he probably is going to end up at a D1 school in 4 years if he reaches his potential, because he's showing a lot of potential at such an early age. And he's going to be somebody that we'll definitely want to see play. So keep an eye out for him. He's just a freshman now. Just a freshman. But by the time it's said and done, he'll have 5 years of varsity. And I think he's going to start getting some offers pretty soon. That just seems almost likely. It just seems like that should happen. Our next one is Exodus Ayers. And Exodus plays for La Cueva, and he's a special talent. He's fast, he's smooth, he can already throw it down, and he's already doing some great things on the AAU scene. He's had some big games there, and he's one that hasn't, as far as I know, received any offers yet or some interest. But I definitely know that people are watching him, and he's another one that, coming into his junior year, should be able to really generate some excitement there for La Cueva. And he's a pivotal part of what they're going to do next year. And I hope Jalin Jacobs goes to La Cueva and they team up together. Jalin Jacobs is another one who's really racking up some interest. Already has received an offer from Western New Mexico, and he hasn't even played high school ball. But he'll be a sophomore next year. This thing, I'll call it the thing because I really don't care to be censored today, is essentially what held up the whole process for Jalin. And he's had to go kind of a circular route as far as his prep basketball career is concerned. But I would really love to see Jalin and Exodus together. That would be a special combination. That would be something to watch, and that would probably put La Cueva right up there with a chance to win a state championship. That's something that would be neat to see. Our next one, I'm going to go with Kohanan out of Zoom. Kohanan is the star player for Gallup. He's 6'4". He is athletic, throwing it down. He's a special player. His brother was Quinn Adezoun. Is Quinn Adezoun. Of course, past tense, right? Quinn's still alive. And his brother was an all-star, New Mexico 2020 all-star. But Kohanan, I think, is going to be right up there with him. And Kohanan is another one that you definitely have to keep an eye on. And he gives Gallup a serious chance as far as a 4A state championship. So Kohanan is one that we all need to keep a lookout for because he's going to make some highlights. He's one that can shoot from outside, throw it down, dribble, drive, and he's just going to keep on getting better. I mean, this kid is he's just one of those players that comes around every once in a great while in Gallup, and so he's special. And that's definitely somebody we need to keep an eye on. Our next one is Javier Mendoza. Now, I love Javier Mendoza at Trisco. Javier stepped in for Isaiah Brooks last year in the semifinal against Cleveland and nailed 6 threes. Very athletic, tall. I believe he's about 6'4". Somebody will correct me on that. But Javier is one of those players that could really break out onto the scene this coming year. Could really have a special year along with his running mate, Kobe Wade, who's really looking good out there, who's also 6'6". These guys look special. They are being able to do it from the outside and the inside. Dribble, drive. They make They really, wow, they make a Driscoll look really tough, especially with a young point guard like Tony Pacheco. And then you have Chris Parra on that team, who really raised some eyebrows and impressed some people out there on the AAU scene this summer. Chris Parra is a really nice outside shooter, and we should expect this team to really be able to compete for a 5A state championship next season. So definitely keep an eye out for those four right there, the four horsemen, right? And that's going to be exciting. Ty Bauer is another one I want to mention. Ty is doing well in the AAU scene. He had a good summer, and he's playing for West Mesa, and I think he's going to help them out quite a bit this season. And so he's one of those players that can shoot from outside and do a lot of different things. And he's one that definitely you want to keep an eye on. I'm not sure how well West Mesa is going to do this year. You never know with West Mesa. But with them and Ty there, I think that they could possibly do as well as they did last year. Maybe a little bit better, because Ty's definitely improved this summer. Had a really strong summer. And so I'm going to go through this the list here. Elijah Brody, Cleveland. Cleveland is just loaded with Diego Sharp and Elijah Brody and Antonio Avila, who's a three-sport star, okay, super athlete. These three right here can all pass and shoot, and they're going to make that team very tough. Those are names that you're definitely going to remember for sure. And so that's what I got for now as I've gone through this. William Deuce Benjamin of Las Cruces, who's got offers from New Mexico State and UTEP, is looking really strong this summer. He finished off really strong, so I think we might hear an announcement from him pretty soon as far as where he's going to go play college ball, because he's definitely going D1. So that's exciting there. Caden Self on his team also is another exciting player, about 6'3", who's going to be a great complement with that group right there. And you're probably going to have to pick Las Cruces to go for the whole thing. I expect him to be in the championship game again, especially with Isaiah Carr there in the center position, who's already committed to GCU. So that right there is a solid team. So I expect them to get back there. So that's going to be exciting. So I'm going to put my little list down here, and there's some other names like Jaquan Hill. Jaquan had a really nice summer too, and I'm hoping for some more offers from him. I'm hoping to see what happens there. But he also finished strong with the Albuquerque Basketball Club. He did really well there. And you also have Sean Alter, who did really well this year, and he's going to be a big man in the middle, really strong for them. So that's another exciting group. And then least I not forget Sean Johnson of Sandia. Now, he's been kind of quiet on the scene, and haven't heard much, but I'm expecting a better Sean. So I'm excited to see what Sean, comes up with this coming year as he finishes off his high school career. And so with all that being said, we're going to have a great season. Some exciting things are happening. I'm hearing that there possibly could be some more gyms going up. I'm also right there at Route 66 Basketball Academy. They're going to put in a wooden floor, which is exciting. I think it will be a game changer for them, because everybody has linoleum, and they also have those plastic courts, which really aren't that great for cutting and things like that. So putting in a wooden floor makes a huge difference as far as the gym is concerned. That's where everybody's going to be. Route 66 Basketball, their gym is on Princeton Drive right there by Comanche. That's where the Duke City Basketball Academy is also. The Duke City Pro-Am was held there a couple times. So that's going to be exciting, and I hope we keep improving in those areas as far as facilities. Now, I want to get to my next take, because this talks about the season, this talks about the schools and what we're dealing with now. So stay tuned for that. All right, we're back. I'm going to talk about everything that's going on, and there's so much to talk about here. The prep news was exciting, and I forgot two names that I definitely want to mention. Alex Dominguez of Holland and Jose Murillo, who I'm hearing might be getting some more offers. Just got one from Eastern New Mexico. Premier big man here in the state, and so it's exciting. He should be already getting a D1 offer somewhere, but I have high hopes. And then Judah Casas is another name from Del Norte who's doing well, got some offers from Southern Utah and UC Irvine, and then Shane Domo Sanchez with an offer from Northern New Mexico Highlands. So I wanted to cover those names. Again, there's so many names that are getting offers now that it's really exciting to see how we're improving overall throughout the state. But I want to get into another topic called realignment. Okay, conference realignment, college realignment. Just recently, Texas and Oklahoma have said that they're going to go to the SEC. And so we've all been through this before. If you follow college athletics, you've seen this happen before. So we're going to see it happen again. History repeats itself. Now, what does this mean for UNM? Are they ready? Will it happen for them? Will they get into a better position than what they are now? Right now, I'm skeptical, because UNM's always been reactive. UNM has never really been aggressive. They've never really had a vision. They've always kind of waited to see if their ship will come in. Well, you got to grab that thing and reel it in, tow it in with a tugboat. And they're not really doing that from what it appears. They're just kind of sitting back and waiting. Is that negative? No, that's just the facts. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with it and then do something about it if you want a better situation for your school. And with Texas and Oklahoma leading the way, they're going to go to the SEC. It could happen in 2025, or they could have their buyout from the Big 12 happen very soon. $80 million apiece if they leave before 2025. That's a drop in the bucket for them. They could get the networks to pay for them. A lot of things could happen there. I see them already gone. What does that do with the Big 12? Well, now they got to find some new members, or maybe they don't expand. What does the Pac-12 do? What does everybody else do? See, the whole conference landscape is going to change again, and it's based off of TV money. But there's only so much left of that because the streaming world is coming online. And if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you ought to learn how to stream, and stream in an affordable and effective way, because you'll be rich. Just look at Mark Cuban. That's the thing. Will UNM end up in a better conference? What will the Mountain West do? I think they'll be reactive. They still have Craig Thompson. Craig Thompson let BYU, TCU, Utah go. They ended up with a bad deal where basically Boise State got all the money and everybody else got the peanuts. That's the way I see it. And he still has a job. You know, in most corporate places, he would have been gone by now. No real plan. Will UNM be attractive? Well, you look at Colorado State with a new football stadium. San Diego State has a new football stadium. Utah State has a new press box. It's been there for a couple years, but it's definitely newer than UNM's. And you also have UNLV, new football complex. They're going to play at that new stadium right off I-15 in Las Vegas, off the Strip. Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play. They also have improved their basketball facilities. They're looking very attractive now. No more Sam Boyd out in the boonies for them. What has UNM done? We still have the same facility that we haven't really invested into in so long. It's been the same since, since the 80s, maybe. Maybe, since the 2000s when they did a little expansion there. And then, sure, they got the big video board. but nothing else, and maybe a turf, and that's about it, and maybe a little bit of renovation of locker rooms. But if you look at all these other stadiums, and you look at all these other facilities across the land, across these different schools, you'll see that they are much more up to date. We have a press box that is way out of date. We have no suites, really. Should have at least 4 or 5 suites, a club area. These are the things of college athletics now. We don't have those things. They haven't invested. They haven't fundraised. They haven't really fundraised. They've relied on the state. And now that oil and gas is getting beaten up here, which is the biggest money maker for this state, getting attacked, where are we going to get the money? You see, is that negative? No, that's just the realities. Those are serious questions to ask. It's not negative. You can't put your head in the sand. If you want a better program, you're going to have to do something about it. Now we go to the subject of New Mexico United. Okay, UNM hasn't been able to get hardly anything to really improve, but here comes United, a private business, okay? It is a private business, just like any other private business. They've received $3 million already for a practice facility. And now they're coming back asking for $70 million for a soccer stadium. You understand? Now, of course, the taxpayers have to decide on this, but what about UNM? Didn't UNM have an opportunity? If you were to go vote for a bond to pay for UNM, would you do it? I mean, but here's United, a private business, getting $70 million. They're getting all this money. Their owner, Peter, I cannot pronounce his last name. I haven't looked at it. But to be honest with you, I'll just call him Peter T. Okay? He's kind of a mystery man. Came from London, city of London, where I guess the globalist elite, your royals and everybody else does their finances and their banking. Okay? It's a little square mile in London. It's its own little place. That's why it's called the city of London. This man ends up here in New Mexico, and all of a sudden he has a cushy little position on the economic board of the governor's office. I mean, think about that. He's getting all these perks. He's getting this opportunity to have you pay for his private business, his facility. He's already gotten $3 million from you, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Just because something says New Mexico on the chest doesn't mean we all should go run and support it. Maybe if you buy tickets, yeah, I could see that. Now, I want to bear in mind, I don't have a problem with them building the stadium. What I do have a problem with is asking me to pay for your stadium, especially when my taxpayer-funded university is struggling over here and could use that money to further develop, especially when that university's been here over 100 years and this team called United is in a second-tier league, basically AAA soccer. It is AAA soccer. It's not even the top league, the MLS. It's USL Championship Series is what I believe it's called. And then you have MLS. Okay? So that means there's 30-plus teams better than United, or rated higher, we should say, MLS. They're not the same. 2 different levels. Don't let people fool you. 2 different levels. But why should we give them money? Why should we, the taxpayer, give them money, our hard-earned money, to them to build their stadium? And they'll tell you, oh, well, it's for the community. Well, that's just code word for we'll let you use it when we're not playing on it. Okay? Am I being negative? No. I'm pointing out the facts here. You know, you look at other pro teams around the city. The New Mexico Runners, who are doing a great job over there in Rio Rancho. Andres Trujillo's been doing a great job. They're promoting that, indoor soccer. And then you look at the Duke City Gladiators. These people have got to be upset because they have courted Mayor Tim Keller. I mean, they gave him a championship ring. They gave him a championship ring when they won a championship in indoor football. They even congratulated him and his wife on their anniversary and posted all over social media. What have they gotten? They haven't gotten anything from the city or the state. Nothing. Now they're having to play in Rio Rancho. I mean, they've got to be upset. And I've got to ask you, small business owner, you're struggling. You are struggling to pay the bills. You've had to go through this thing that we're going through, and you have to apply for a grant just to get some money, just to survive. Yet Peter T., I call him Deep State T, Deep State Pete, might as well call him that, because that's where that place is at. He comes over here, he gets all these plum positions, he's playing footsies with the governor, and he's in a position now to have you pay for his stadium. $70 million. He's already gotten $3 million out of your pocket. Do you really want to give him more? That's all I'm asking. Do you really want to give him more? Oh, but it's for the community. It's for the community, right? It's for the community. You know, you can put your United sticker on your car and stuff. You know, the soccer community is going blitz. And look, I helped the Albuquerque Soul. I'm an Albuquerque Soul alumni. I helped for 2 years, game day operations, all that stuff. I even wrote for them, did player profiles, those types of things. And here's an interesting fact. This is something to think about now. Let's say this stadium gets built, okay? Apparently, there may be 4 other partners in on this. One of them is a construction company. Now, if this construction company gets a contract to build the stadium that they are going to be partial owner of, talk about corruption. I'm just saying, think about all this. Research all this. Is that fair? Is that fair to you as a taxpayer? Because your taxes will go up. Is that fair to all the small business owners that have been struggling out there? Is that really fair? I'm just asking. Is that fair? Is that beneficial towards the city? You know, for them, but not for you. Is that beneficial? That's all I'm asking as far as those things are concerned. Because, you know, it's kind of sad that we could be kind of held hostage on this. Especially when United have gotten all these privileges, but UNM and NMSU have had to go out of state to practice, to play. UNM football under Danny Gonzalez, and he seems like somebody who can build a program. I'll give him that. Jury's still out. We'll see what happens. But he had to go play his games in Las Vegas, Nevada. UNM Lobo basketball, you know, the big winner here, the big moneymaker here in this state, had to go play at Lubbock Christian University. Was that fair? Was that fair? They even had to practice. I mean, they couldn't even be in the state because of the thing. But yet United was able to come and go as they please. Is it fair? Is it fair, ladies and gentlemen? Is it fair? When do you decide that you want to go the United way in a league that's not even MLS, that has all its television rights tied into ESPN, who could decide to pull the plug at any minute because, well, the ratings may not be good enough because that's how they get paid? Is that fair? I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying as far as those things are concerned. Because that's the take on all of this. Now, my next take, because we're going to do 3 takes, and this podcast is going to be a little long. But we're going to talk about what's happening with the schools and these face coverings. I'm just going to call them face coverings because I really don't feel like being shadow banned or censored, because I have been. And that's what's sad about what's going on now in the world, is if you say certain words or you go and mention certain things, you automatically fall into an algorithm that places you in a category where the major tech companies decide how they're going to allow your reach to go out. It's sad. It really is. But stay tuned for that third take. We're going to talk about the schools and what's going on now. We're going to talk about Floyd, okay? Floyd, New Mexico. Stay tuned for that. Okay, now we're getting to some serious stuff here. Just recently, we're having this thing where face coverings are required for children to go back to school. We're dialing back the clock, it seems like, back to 2020. And so now the Public Education Department of New Mexico wants to issue this edict, I guess we'll call it, where they want everybody wearing face coverings. I'm just calling it face coverings because, like I said in the other little take, I'm not going to repeat myself. Essentially, what's going to happen here is that everybody is probably going to bow down to it, except for Floyd, New Mexico. Floyd, New Mexico, the school board voted the will of the people of Floyd that they were not going to allow face coverings for their children when they went back to school. So this department, this public education department, suspended the school board. Now, this is kind of a reach right here. This is really, really interesting right now. This is it feels like a dictatorship, to be honest with you, because this school board was doing the will of the people. Government should be for the people, by the people. And it seems to be the exact opposite. And by the way, the public education department doesn't make laws, okay? And so they're not a law enforcement agency, but they do have some administrative authority. So this has really gotten to be kind of a shakedown in a way, because now we're going to have other school districts that probably are just going to go along with the face covering issue. So it's now the parents who are going to have to step up if you do not want your children going to school with face coverings, especially with all these different strands or variants coming into play now. There's a whole bunch of them. I've seen the list. It's a bunch of them now. We're past the Delta Airlines one. We're past that one now, and now we got 3 more that are supposedly more deadly than those. Now we're going to have, there should be about, probably, I'd say about 14 more coming on down the line. I know the names already. It's kind of funny. But the thing is that this is going to continue, okay? This is going to continue on unless you do something. And it seems logical and reasonable to think that high school sports could be affected. Again, we might have to go through this again because, well, they're already wanting kids to wear face coverings at school. So why not sporting events, right? I shouldn't give them any ideals. They've already thought of it, okay? That's the issue right there, is that's going to probably happen again. So we could have a different season. We might even get to a point where we don't have a season. It seems logical and reasonable. I remember when it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. You know how that worked out, okay? That turned into, we're going on like 18 months or so here. We're going on a long time with this nonsense. And hey, if that offends you, it offends you. Well, okay. So the point is this. You're going to have to get out there if you do not want face coverings. You're going to have to get out there and protest. I wouldn't be surprised if parents get out there in front of the public education department building and protest. Hint, hint. And it would maybe make a difference. You got to get your voice heard. You don't want to wait until something is taken from you to do something. You're going to have to take action. You can't positive your way into anything. You really can't. You cannot. You got to take action. And that's what's going to happen here, because we've got a state government that's power drunk. Been power drunk, and now you're really seeing why. You're really seeing a power-drunk state government right now. They're drunk on power, and they're loving it. And it really doesn't feel like the United States of America anymore, to be honest with you. It really doesn't. And that's what is kind of scary. So we got to keep out there. We got to get out there, and we got to start fighting, because our kids are our future. They're the ones who are going to have to suffer if we don't do anything. Because we're already going into 18 months. This thing is not going to end until we put a stop to it. Their government, state government, is going to keep on pushing this along with the feds until they get their way, until they get their agenda. Whatever that might be, research it. That's all I'm saying. Research it. Because if we don't get the knowledge and we don't understand what's going on, then we become pawns in this game. Simple as that. Let your voice be heard. Like I said in episode 4, these face coverings were not going to go away. And what really doesn't make sense is why they're bringing them back when there's so much data out there that shows that they're not really that effective. I mean, I used to be in hazmat, emergency operations. You have to have a good fit on a mask in order for it to work properly. You have to be fitted for one. The U.S. Navy didn't allow beards because you couldn't get a proper fit. You have to get the right mask in order to, stop whatever it is you need to stop. And by the way, this thing, I'm going to call it the thing because I don't want to be censored or shadow banned on this one, on this episode, is patented. It has 97 patents. You can look it up on prochemistry.com. It's a list of all different types of viruses and chemicals. And this thing that we've been dealing with for the 18 months, hint, hint, you should know what it is patented. It is actually patented. Okay? So, get the knowledge. Find out what's going on. I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but I think it's going to get really interesting. Floyd, New Mexico has really, really taken that leap when nobody else has. And there, like I said earlier, there might not be a season, or it's going to be a condensed season, or it's going to have restrictions. And I don't see anybody like the Coaches Association standing up against that. I think they're going to just go with the flow. The NMAA is going to do whatever they can just to get through it. And I got to give a shout out to them because they have put a lot of effort into having a season when it appeared that we wouldn't have a season. Coaches Association, I can't give them much credit on that, especially after the way they treated the 2020 high school all-star boys when they told them, hey, you're not going to have a game, even though other states had an all-star game during that time. Then they told them, well, if you want a jersey, you can buy one. And that's really sad because becoming an all-star at the highest school classifications and being told that, it just really dampens your accomplishment because very few are going to be all-stars. Very, very few. I can't even imagine what that's like because I've never been an all-star. I made second team in junior high school in some conference. The point is that that's a great accomplishment, and they were treated that way. I mean, if you don't follow sports, it would be like getting a scholarship to Harvard or something of that nature, or something that means something to you, whether it's in music or other activities. And it's sad the way they were treated. So I really don't expect much from them as far as fighting for the kids. Now they could surprise me. I'll give them that. But I don't expect much. The NMAA, like I said before, I think will do the best they can. And I give them credit. I do on that part. Now, as far as everything else goes, we'll see what happens. But you're going to have to get out there. Now, you're going to have to get out there, and you are, and you're going to have to protest and do everything you can within the legal bounds of the law in order to protect your kids. Because it seems like we have a state government that's hell-bent on doing things their way. They think they can raise your kids better than you. Okay? They think your kids belong to them, apparently. Because that's how they're behaving. And if you don't stop this now, it could get worse. You could have them coming into your home, and I know people are laughing at that. Yeah, laugh now. They laughed when Noah was building an ark. I'm just saying, okay? They laughed when Noah was building an ark. But that's the kind of power that they're running with right now. So you really have to step up. You really have to step up. You really have to voice your concerns. You have to go to these school board meetings. You have to get out there, write the letters, and you have to apply the pressure within the legal bounds of the law. And the law will protect you because it is there. Because I believe some of this stuff is in violation of our Constitution and is in violation of our state constitution. Because again, the public education department does not make laws. Okay? So you really have to get the knowledge and get out there and do something about it. Or else this is going to get worse and worse. Because they're going to keep on bringing on these things, these strains. Again, I don't want to be shadow bound. And that's what's sad. And I explained that earlier, what's going on. Because it's already happened to me. And I'm sure it's happened to some of you that watch. And those of you that it hasn't happened to, well, give it time. Give it time. Say the wrong thing. Give it time. You've got to keep chipping away at the things that block your freedom. But in closing, with all of that being said, we're living in some very precarious, exciting times, I guess you would say. This is exciting for some because maybe around the corner, something a whole lot better is going to happen. And so you got to keep going and keep going to work. Keep going out there. Keep supporting the kids because they need all the support they can get. And get out there and have public discourse. And don't let anybody stop you from having public discourse because we have to have discussions. Because this is the United States of America where you have discussions, where you talk about the issues. And don't let anybody censor you on that. So with that in closing, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. And thank you for supporting the kids. And thank you for supporting basketball. You have a great night.